Good afternoon, everyone. Once again, University welcomes you to our first international virtual ELT conference. We will be having with us Miss Fatma Ketata to talk about designing online teaching and supplementary materials in a while. Okay. Miss Fatma, are you ready? I will be sharing your screen. Will
Yes.
you be
Shall
using
I?
any materials? Yes, yes.
Yes. Shall I start sharing my screen now?
Yes, please do. And open your materials if you have any so that they will be shared in the view. And you can start your presentation with a brief.
Um, can I have my face shown, please?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Can you see the first slide of my presentation?
Yes, yes.
Great. Thank you. So, shall I start or shall I wait a bit
Yes,
more?
you can start.
Okay. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to the first International Virtual ELT Web Conference. On your behalf, I'd like to thank Abri College of Technology in Oman for allowing us, for providing us with this golden opportunity to take part and attend this conference about the importance of using innovative the importance of using innovative methods in ELT classroom. I chose as a topic, I chose designing online teaching and supplementary materials. My name is Fatma Ftata. I'm an EFL teacher in Tunisia, and I've been teaching for about 10 years. My presentation consists of three parts. The first part, before starting designing the lesson. The second part, designing the online lesson and the supplementary materials. And the last part, an innovative way to design an online lesson with a special focus on the importance of blended teaching and the concept of the flipped classroom. So without further ado, we'll start with the first part before starting designing the lesson. So here, teachers are recommended to devote a place in the house and create a special environment to be their virtual classroom. And this virtual classroom should be away from noise, but close enough to the Wi-Fi modem to avoid any problem with internet connection. They are also recommended to use a desktop or a laptop rather than a tablet or smartphone and be equipped, preferably be equipped with a headset for a better quality audio. As teachers are supposed to use computers and internet, mastery of hardware and software is a must, so that will increase their self-confidence, either while designing the lesson or while presenting it later. It is also recommended to experiment with the different online platforms like Zoom, Google Meet, or Teams, either on their own or collaborating with some colleagues with whom they feel comfortable. Now we reach the second part, designing the online lesson and the supplementary materials, which I call the first scenario. So I'm going to talk about my own experience as I am an EFL teacher in a state school in Tunisia, where we follow the traditional real classroom pattern. There are no online lessons. However, this doesn't mean that teachers don't use technology when teaching English. And the idea of resorting to online teaching or remote learning emerged because of the COVID-19 pandemic. So in the traditional framework, I used to ask myself the question, what do my students need to learn? And in this new e-learning context, I added another question, which is, how can I do this online? I have to set clear and feasible objectives. I mustn't forget about the learner's motivation and engagement. I also have to consider varying the types of activities and the modes of interaction. And my lesson should also respect the 4 stages: the warm-up stage, the pre-stage or presentation, the while stage or practice, and the post-stage or production. So while designing the online lesson, there are a few but great differences, such as substituting the traditional whiteboard with interactive whiteboards like the one provided by Microsoft Teams or Google Jamboard and Miro, which are highly interactive. Both teachers and learners can modify them, and when the lesson is over, the teachers can take a screenshot and sharing with their learners who will download it, as long as other materials used by the teachers like PDFs or PowerPoint presentations. So we replace the traditional copybook by a digital one. The greatest thing about teaching online is that with a simple press or with a simple click on the share button, you can involve your learners in a myriad of online activities and games like those provided in Learn It Chocolate, Wordbar, Kahoot, live worksheets, Bamboozle, and JClick. And here is an example. For example, if you wish to teach your learners the different parts of the body, you can resort to these two activities. The first activity, the learners have to drag the label and drop it in the appropriate slot. And as a second activity, the learners have to listen to a word, then they have to select the appropriate illustration to that word from the three alternatives provided. If you're not really satisfied with what is ready-made, you can create your own interactive activities, and this is really amazing. So here on the right, as you can see here in my slide, I created this activity to help my learners foster their vocabulary about school. So they have to look at the picture, click on the little black triangle to listen to the word, then type it in the small box under the picture, fostering then spelling as well. Whatever the teachers do, they have to bear in mind that the lessons should be simple, not overwhelming to the learners. The use of videos or songs or any activity shouldn't be too long, otherwise the pupils might get distracted. Teachers can use as many flashcards as needed, especially in case of having learners with special needs, but it mustn't be in an exaggerated way as well. And they have to bear in mind that their work must be well organized, put all the materials supposed to use in your online lesson in one file to save time while delivering it later. And that is, teachers have to make sure that the lessons are FAME, where F stands for fun, A for animated or energetic, creating an energetic atmosphere, M for motivating, and E for engaging. So as you can see, this this first scenario rests almost 100% upon what is called synchronous learning. I said almost 100% because Microsoft Teams offered huge advantages for both learners and teachers. One of the advantages for learners is that the lessons are recorded and students can refer back to them anytime. And for teachers, each teacher has their own channel. They can upload all the materials needed and categorize them, module 1, 2, 3. And in module 1, they can create other sections, section 1, section 2, section 3, etc. And it is well organized for both for the teacher and for the learners, as they have access to this channel and they can upload or download the appropriate material. After my short experience with this online learning, it was fine, but I found that it was not really enough for me as a teacher and for my learners. So I tried to look for solutions in order to enhance the quality of my teacher. Here, before I talked about the solutions I opted for, I'd like you to go to menti.com. Use your computer or your smartphone. Go to menti.com, please, to jot down some suggestions what teachers can do in order to enhance their learning. So here you are gently asked to enter the code 497506. Please, moderator, I'd like you to type this code in the chat box so everyone can see it, please. I repeat, 497506. What solutions can teachers opt for to enhance the quality of their teaching? The code is 497506. So feel free to share your opinions about the different solutions teachers can look for in order to improve the quality of their teaching. So I'm waiting for your suggestions. I guess there are some technical problems or what? Learn from colleagues. Yes, thank you. This is a good solution to collaborate with teachers to be more tech forward. Yes, yes, YouTube. Very good. Very useful indeed. Thank you. Puzzle. Very nice. Thank you for your nice interaction. We can see Flipgrid. Nice. This is all of this is very nice. However, I experiment. Yes, thank you. However, here I try to choose two different solutions. As in the online experience, we've got three parties involved: teachers, learners or pupils, and parents. I opted for, as a first solution, to conduct a survey among pupils generated by Google Forms. I asked my learners different questions about their online experience. And I also tried to interview some of the parents to get feedback about this new online teaching method. So as for the pupils, I was interested in knowing the amount of hours they are supposed to learn online. So most of them study at least 5 hours. I also asked them about their feelings. So many of them are excited before the lesson. However, unfortunately, during and after the lesson, they are more or less bored, if not disappointed, by the end of the lesson. And in the best circumstances, the acquired knowledge online cannot exceed 80%, as you can see through this pie chart. I also asked about the provided materials and the recordings of the lessons, whether they referred back to them or not. So almost 70% answered sometimes, and the majority answered yes. So they proved to be useful. And I also was interested in knowing when the learners are more likely to lose focus. So as you can see here, almost 17% lose focus 10 to 20 minutes after the beginning. Almost 67%, 20 to 40 minutes after the beginning, and 50% after studying 2 to 3 lessons at a time. So the feedback I got from interviewing the parents are really close to that I got from pupils. So they put stress on the hourly volume, that it was tiring, sometimes boring, overwhelming, long hours, etc. It must be tuned to the learner's pace. But I got some positive feedback, like it can be improved, and it was really flexible. Here, as you can see, this is a link to a sample of an interview I conducted with one of the parents. If you are interested in watching it, in the last slide of my presentation, you'll be provided with all the links to all the materials I used or I'm using in my presentation. So this survey and these interviews helped me shape the innovative way to design an online lesson. And before I talk about this, the second scenario, in contrast to first scenario as used earlier, let me tell you that sometimes, when you need to do something you don't know, you simply go to YouTube to watch some DIY videos, which are do-it-yourself videos, so you can learn without the presence of the teacher. So why can't we do this with our learners? And this is how the concepts of the flipped classroom and blended teaching emerge, really. So for the flipped classroom, in contrast to the traditional teaching. So in the traditional lessons, it's the teacher who gives a lecture, providing all the materials in class. Then at home, in that asynchronous, let's say, phase of learning, they do their homework or do different activities. In the flipped classroom concept, it's the other way around, rather, where the teacher provides the learners with all the materials before class in the form of PDFs, PowerPoint presentations, videos from YouTube, explainer videos. They themselves create via Powtoon or Byteable or iCell Collective, where they can embed quizzes and the learners can watch and play at the same time. They don't watch passively. Or simply create stories, videos, or songs using the tool Video Maker embedded in Windows. They can simply download pictures from the internet, add subtitles, some 3D effects, etc. They can also record their voices or ask some friends who are good singers or music teachers who play instruments. Why not? Collaboration can go beyond the community of English teachers and reach other teachers, and this is really amazing. So this is an example of a song I generated myself. I wanted to teach my pupils how to describe the weather. So I downloaded pictures from the internet, added some elements of nature with 3D effects and sound. So this is really enjoyable and fun for learners. I also provided them with a PDF containing slides containing the lyrics of the song, some grammatical rules like how to form an adjective out of nouns by adding Y. And finally, I also provided them with this bamboozle game, where they are provided with different types of weathers, and they have to practice describing it either by filling in the blanks or choosing from these alternatives. And of course, the learner has the possibility to restart the game as many times they need. What is amazing about the flipped classroom is that in the context of using videos, the learners can repeat these videos as many times as needed. They can pause, rewind, fast forward them. They are really enjoyable. When it is about a piece of reading, they can read it as many times as needed. They can also use dictionaries to explain some of the words they have never dared ask in class out of shyness or embarrassment in front of their classmates. So here the learners learn at their pace. They become more confident and more prepared for the online lesson, where teachers and students practice the acquired learning, the receptive skills, through reading, listening. They learn something new, like in my example here, making suggestions for the appropriate weather, and enhance the productive skills, namely speaking and writing. In contrast to the blended teaching, here we've got the asynchronous phase of teaching before the online lesson. Here, the difference is that in the flipped classroom, we provide the learners with new materials. However, in the context of the blended teaching here, we just provide the learners with activities to prepare before class, like some brainstorming through Mentimeter, or provide them with the text, and pupils have to answer reading comprehension questions, either on Google Forms or live worksheets, interactive activities. Of course, the online lesson will be about collaboration, communication, and interaction between the classmates or the learners, that is, their teacher. We've got something common between the blended teaching and the flipped classroom, is the second asynchronous phase after the online class, in which we talk about homework, because homework is part and parcel of designing any lesson, whether traditional or digital. So here, the learners can edit their paragraphs and post them on Padlet to enhance their writing skills. As for speaking, they can record themselves talking about a particular issue and post them on Flipgrid. Or simply, they can have the chance to practice more through games. Like this game I generated via Kahoot. I generated it at the end of a module in order to practice the different functions covered in that module. So what is fun here is that, sorry, I need to do it again. Just a moment. So here, what is fun about it is that it is anonymous. And here the learners can spin the wheel here and choose a nickname. Okay, go. Then they have to wait for an utterance to pop up, like this one. Let's hurry up. After that, they are provided with 4 options: asking for information, making suggestions, asking for permission, or inviting. So all they have to do is click on the appropriate answer, then press the button next to go to the following utterance until they are done with all the utterances. So in a nutshell here, I'd like to say that blended teaching and the flipped classroom are the future of learning all over the world. They really encourage autonomous learning. They are learner-centered. The learners become more independent. The teacher is no more at the center of the learning process. Teachers are moderators and facilitators. So this is the last but one slide. Here you've got the links to all the materials I use in my presentation. And here is my email address if ever you are interested in receiving the PDF containing the slides of my presentation. So my last piece of advice to you before I leave is keep learning, because the moment you stop learning, you simply stop being alive, you merely exist. Thank you for your attention, and I'm ready to answer any question.
Okay, participants, you're free to ask your questions. We still have 5 more minutes to discuss the answers from the speaker. Oh, finally, here is one question. It's from Sandy. If your students are only using a mobile phone as their tech, how can you effectively use Kahoot?
Well, Kahoot can be used either via smartphones, tablets, or computers. All they have to do is enter the code of the game. It's a pin generated by Kahoot, and they follow the steps.
See, and there's another one from Dr. Naina. How can you increase the motivation level for students through online teaching?
I mentioned this in the second part of my lesson, so I have to use different activities, interactive activities. I can use games to motivate them. There are different tools, you know. You just have to experiment. You can also ask them what they like best about online learning, and they can help you find something suitable for them to learn.
And Miss Fatma,
Yes.
some participants really loved your presentation, so some of them would like
Thank
to
you.
have the slide
Okay, with pleasure.
delivered to them via email. Is that possible?
Sure. So I'm going to share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
All right. So just a moment, please.
And some participants would also like to have your email address on it.
Yes, 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 sure. Just a moment. I suppose I have a technical problem here. So I'm going to stop the sharing first. So the chat box. How can I put this? Okay.
And based on your experience, Miss Fatma, do you think
Yes.
students are happy with online learning, as some participants were asking? Are they not bored, they said?
If it is not too long, yes. If they like the subject, yes, they like it.
I see. Thank you very much, Miss
You're
Fatma. It was
welcome.
a
I'm
very
so happy
informative
to
session
take
with
part in
you.
this conference. So I'm uploading the PDF here, so in the chat box. I hope it's visible to everyone.
Yes,
Have
it was
you?
very informative and it
Thank
was
you very
very
much.
interesting.
Thank,
We're glad to have you with us, and I
thank
hope you have
you.
a great day ahead.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Goodbye.
Bye. Good afternoon, participants. There are still two ongoing sessions in two different rooms, room 1 and room 3. Those sessions will be with Dr. Crystal Brody from USA. That's in room 1. The other one will be with Professor Hisham Al-Salbini from UAE on innovative approaches to assessments, and the other one from USA would be what happens in the brain of an English language learner. Feel free to join these sessions. Thank you.